Nothing screams out of touch more than garnishing people's wages because they're not paying their student loans, but then turning around and offering them $5,000 to have a baby. Doesn't even cover the cost of having a baby, let alone raising one.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I gotta be honest with you guys, every single day it's something new coming out of the United States. Now you have judges being arrested, I think 2 judges within the past 2 days, 2 judges and one of their wives. Of course, having to do with illegal migrants. In both cases, I don't know if they were illegal. I think they were though, because I mean, ICE showed up for one of them, right? And the other one was a TDA member, so yeah, it must be both illegal. There's another situation with another migrant that I think he's an Uber driver or Uber Eats or whatnot. He made his way into Canada out of Michigan somehow, tried to get back in. They arrested him. Now they're saying he's gone off to El Salvador. Tons of drama. And being very honest with you guys, there's an election in my country in 2 days. It's probably the most important election in our country's history. And I've been distracted by the United States. I don't really have a good feeling about our election out here. Before Trudeau stepped down, Pierre Poilievre was leading in a landslide. Majority government for the Conservatives. 5 weeks later, the polls are trying to report that this Mark Carney guy, the installed prime minister out here, is leading in a landslide. I don't buy it. I don't believe it. I think it's all fake polling. He's trying to literally poll pretty much like a Kamala Harris. The same type of situation, making it look like he's high up there, but in reality, most people wanted the Liberal government out. What I am worried about, though, is a cheat. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. Monday's coming around the corner. I'm actually a little bit nervous about it. If the Liberals get back in power, a lot of Canadians are going to be leaving this country. I can guarantee you that. All right, so besides that, let's get back to our usual order of business. Let's get into it.
4 hours after shaking his hand and admonishing J.D. Vance for not being a true Catholic, the Pope died. To me, that is further proof that they are the Antichrist.
I read somewhere that MAGA is just hillbilly ISIS. And I'll never be able to unsee it.
I just love Donald. We're not going to play hardball with China. No, we're not going to play hardball. And China's like, motherfucker, we didn't agree to nothing. They're like, no, Donald. Now, if the rest of the world leaders could respond accordingly, just like the Chinese president, just like Canada, and just like Greenland. We're not gonna play hardball.
This is your reminder that a smaller government is closer to a kingdom than it is to a democracy.
Due to cuts by the Trump administration, children are being forced to represent themselves in deportation cases. Migrant children are having to sit in front of TV screens in order to appear for these real court proceedings. One of the judges telling the children, quote, "The reason we're here is because the government of the United States wants you to leave the United States." Imagine hearing that as a child, with no representation, no one to tell you what to do, no one to give you guidance on how to go about doing this. This is outright cruelty. These are children, for God's sake. There will be justice one day, and these monsters in power will get what they deserve one day.
One way black people achieve true liberation, that's by taking it in blood. There has to be blood all over the floor. There has to be bodies on the floor. There has to be people screaming and crying. That is the reality. And this is what history shows me. No amount of begging, no amount of complaining, no amount of protesting, nada is going to get you your liberation until you take it with blood. You see? So this is why I sit back and I don't play along with any of these black people talking about it's a spiritual war, this, that, because when those cops are going into our neighborhoods and shooting our babies, that's a physical thing. You see, y'all so worried about the spiritual world, and all, but you're not worrying about the world that's right in your face. When we're getting thrown in prison, that's a physical thing, right? Address the physical. You see, this is why I say don't hit my phone until y'all ready to do what y'all know we got to do. When y'all ready to go outside and hunt them white boys, hunt them cops, go to that white boy's neighborhood and fuck his shit up. When y'all ready to do what y'all know we got to do, hit me. But until then, I'm not playing around with y'all because it's all of these excuses for why we don't want to do it. Why? Many of us are scared. You know what I mean? Many of us are complacent in our oppression. You know, many of us don't want to burn the relationships we have with white people, all of these things. So I'm going to sit back and do my thing. When y'all ready to go outside and take blood, hit me anytime. But you see, a lot of us are not ready to do that. But I'm trying to tell y'all, There is no freedom. There is no liberation for our people until there's blood on that floor, on that battlefield. And that's the truth we don't want to admit.
All right, guys, I'm not going to lie. Since the whole Carmelo Anthony situation took place, of course, this young black boy that stabbed the young white kid in the heart there a couple weeks ago in Texas, this situation's getting worse. I'm really not liking at all what I'm seeing out of the black community. I think they're taking many steps backward. Not all the black community. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of black people out there saying these guys are being idiots the way that they're acting. But some of these other individuals are literally taking like generations worth step backwards and acting almost caveman-like. They're calling for violence. This is not the first young man that I've seen, and older men that I've seen now, that have called for literally like the extinction of white people. They think white people's all their problems. This goes back, they really should look back to the roots of what's caused racial division. Now, again, having to keep my words clean over here because this platform doesn't like if I actually put in an opinion as fact. So, in my opinion, you can thank the Democrats for all this. Decades and decades worth of racial division. Really look back at it. They state, I don't have any actual proof of this, but I hear several times that the Triple K clan turned into the Democrat Party. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong there. But if you'll notice, it's one group after another. Now, I've heard black people say, this is their term, not my own, calling the Democrat Party the plantation. So when Stephen A. Smith, if you remember several months ago, he was calling out the Democrats for using lawfare against Trump. And whoever he works for, it wasn't directly ESPN. It was, I can't remember the name, something AAP. Either way, he got a little scolding. And Barry Cunningham, who is a black content creator here on YouTube, I think some of you guys are even subscribed to him. Barry's excellent. He was referring it right away that Stephen A. Smith got called back to the plantation because all of a sudden he's being a good boy again. But, Stephen A. Smith acts up every now and then, and I love it. I really do love when Stephen A. Smith acts up. The racial division has been going on for quite a while now. And when I see somebody here, this guy here, he's much younger than me. And he's acting like as if he's lived through slavery. Keep in mind, I'm Irish. I have Irish blood in me. If I'm correct, there was Irish slaves, wasn't there? White people have been through their thing as well. Maybe not to the same extent, but it wasn't too far off. I know the Irish went through hell. Black people were mistreated in this country, out here in the West. They were definitely mistreated. There's no escaping that. But when I see young black individuals stating that they are owed reparations, no, you're not. You're not owed any reparations. Maybe some older black people that were actually alive and went through the slave times, yeah, I agree with that. They definitely deserve reparations. But somebody of this guy's age, no. Now, calling for blood. This is where you guys know you don't live in a dictatorship. Because how the hell do people get away with this?
I refuse to live in hell, USA. As a collective, we will rise up. We are stronger than they think.
So the current administration is offering a $5,000 incentive to have a baby. Is that supposed to help cover the cost of the red dress and the white hood? Is that what that's for? Sounds like it.
What the government doesn't understand is once you start taking out a little bit of money that we do have and garnishing it for our student loans, you just gonna give it right back when I apply for government assistance. So go ahead and garnish my wages so I can get my $500 of stamps for my crap, boy.
Where the
fuck is the accountability when a judge orders someone to be brought back from El Salvador? Why is no one enforcing it? Where is fucking rule of law? They have no problem deporting terrified families, but when a judge tells them to undo the damage, they just don't do it. This isn't about law and order, it's about control, about who deserves protection and who the system sees as disposable. If we ignore this, if they can ignore court orders for immigrants, what else can they ignore next? Justice without enforcement is a fucking lie. We either fight back now or get used to living in a system that chooses cruelty.
All right, everyone, That's new. That's new.
It was just 5 months ago in November when the election results came in, and everyone said, you shouldn't be surprised. While the left was focused on social issues, average Americans were focused on the economy, kitchen table issues, the price of groceries and rent. The last 4 years have just been too hard. And people need to afford groceries again. Well, 5 months later, we are headed towards the worst economic month since the Great Depression. The worst economic April since the Great Depression. Which economists, experts in the economy, warned us that Trump's economic policies would put us in a recession within 6 months. That Kamala Harris's policies actually would be better for the economy than Trump's policies. Which does lead me to wonder, can we start listening to experts again? Experts who say things like, autism is directly linked to genetics and not vaccines. They've been telling us that for decades when they do things like research it. Over 1 million children researched. Experts are also telling us that we're in a constitutional crisis because Trump is not following Supreme Court orders or any court orders. Can we listen to experts yet and get him out of office?
Now, right off the bat, she starts with 5 months ago that people are stating, well, you shouldn't be surprised that Trump won. The left was more focused on social issues. There was one main issue, that was reproductive freedoms, if you count that as a social issue. And the right was more focused on economy, the cost of food, the cost of gas, cost of living. That was a little bit more important than reproductive freedoms, which, again, still, you guys still haven't lost any other rights since Trump has been in office. And then she wants to bring up the economy. Of course, they're going to blame Trump. This is Biden's economy that Trump is riding off the wave of. Has Trump tilted it left and right? Yes, he has. Obviously, his tariffs have played a part, but you guys are not looking at the long-term game here. The system's been a losing system for many decades, and the only people that are winning are the people that you're looking at in Congress. The bureaucrats are the only ones that are winning. Yeah, you guys want to keep bringing it up. Yeah, Trump with his billionaire, but yeah, he's a billionaire, he's a billionaire, he's a billionaire. We're never going to be billionaires. Is it that hard to believe that he's not trying to rip off all your money, not trying to rip off your Social Security, not trying to enrich his billionaire buddies even more, and that they're already rich enough? When you're that rich, your money can make money for you. They don't need to take money from little people like us. If you guys would actually stop for a second and quit thinking that Trump is this awful dictator that's getting rid of all these innocent Americans and anybody with brown skin, that's proven wrong left, right, and center. Is it really that hard to believe? And maybe just have a little bit of faith for once, that maybe he is actually doing the right thing, what no president has ever done before. And of course, the liberals' new favorite words, constitutional crisis. As I said a few videos ago, yes, we are in a constitutional crisis now, as SCOTUS does not seem to be doing their jobs. These judges are blocking Trump from actually doing his job. You have an immigration problem out there. No matter how much you guys want to go out and hug these migrants, a lot of them are bad people. They need to be filtered out. Migration is still allowed to come back into the United States, but they're going to be vetted. They're going to be vetted hard. But when you actually have, I think it was today, if I'm correct, you even have a judge that wants to block citizenship, showing your proof of citizenship to vote. What kind of judge in their right mind does not want a bill like that to go through?
This message is for Trump supporters. I better not see one of y'all motherfuckers posting up on Facebook or Instagram drinking margaritas on Cinco de Mayo. That's not for you.
I can't think of a day I wasn't sick in the brain. I'm pretty sure it all started in the womb. I was scared of my life and I was scared of my dad and I was scared of believing in my own truth. I think my thoughts were too big for my body and my body wasn't big enough to hold it all in. I guess it had to come out and it came out of my mouth and it was everything I ate since 10 a.m.
No, taking the wrong fucking turn to Canada can get you deported to El Salvador now. Ricardo Prada Vasquez was an Uber Eats driver who took a no-exit bridge to Canada. He was detained and sent to El Salvador. Are you fucking kidding me? Where's our fucking due process? May 1st is the next nationwide protest for us to stand up against these injustices.
We need to stop discouraging or like calling out all the time that Trump spends on the golf course. Like let the man golf. I would rather his ass be on that course paying millions of dollars in taxpayer money for the Secret Service to be staying there. By all means, keep the man out of the Oval.
I got a violation and they took my post down, but I really didn't say anything. Anyways, all I said was, do y'all want to hear something funny? Do you want to hear how naive I am? When Joe Biden stepped down and Kamala became the running party, I literally thought, this solves everything. Clearly they'll vote for her over Donald. I really did. I really did. Gotta laugh at something, right? Anyway.
Word on the street is the Trump administration is alarmed by the lack of childbirths happening in this country right now, and they're looking to incentivize it. Do you want to know why people are not having kids in this country? It's because it sucks to raise a family in America in 2025. When you have a child, you are immediately saddled with thousands of dollars in medical debt, assuming you could even afford private health insurance. Then you are launched into a world with a child who needs to navigate the minefield of communicable diseases that are recurring now because a guy like RFK Jr. and his brainworms are at the controls of our literal health and human services department. Then, assuming you survive that disease minefield, you make it to daycare. But if you're in a rural community, daycares are probably not a thing. If you're in an urban community, they are exorbitantly expensive, and you as a parent do not earn nearly enough money to send a kid to private daycare. So instead, you just make ends meet and put some food on the table until they get to public education, because at least that is free. Except when they're in a public classroom, their friends are being yanked out for no reason to defend themselves in immigration court because we won't offer an attorney to a 4-year-old that's facing deportation. Meanwhile, your child is a little bit hungry at lunchtime, but you have to pay for that food because God forbid the party of pro-life provide a lunch to the children that they're forcing you to have. Then, when you get to college, assuming you navigate the entirety of American childhood, you are faced with, again, thousands of dollars in debt to make it through a 4-year degree and launched into a job market that looks increasingly bleak under the whims of an economic tyrant. And at the end of the day, all of this is happening on a spinning rock rotating around the sun that is burning because we can't control the climate change that we are causing. All the while, every single person who does not think, look, or act exactly like a white dude is under attack, and all of their rights are being systematically peeled away. Meanwhile, the wealth that they earned over the entirety of raising that child is being transferred upward to billionaires through stock market manipulation. Did I miss anything?
This guy here, he claims to be a Christian, and I've actually heard him speak biblically a few times on his videos, and he definitely knows his Bible. So this is what's frustrating about this guy. It's like, how can you know this is right, but also be on the wrong side of things? When he wants to start pointing out diseases that have arisen in the past few months, and he's trying to blame that on RFK Jr., what has RFK Jr. really done since he's been sworn in? And how long ago was he actually sworn in? So you're going to try and blame recent diseases. Not all of them are very recent either. on RFK Jr. You don't think any of that at all had to do with your border being wide open. You're letting people from all over the world come in who were not required to get vaccinated to attend your public schools, yet your own American citizens were required to be vaccinated to have their children attend. And you want to blame RFK Jr. for diseases. And then he wants to look you in the eye right over the camera and state, you know what, you can't really afford these private schools, so you have no choice but to send your child to public schools because they're free. Sorry, that's where me, my friend, we all went to public schools. We couldn't afford these fancy private schools. He goes, but the problem is in the public schools, then your child has to watch their friends getting yanked out of the class to go to an immigration court to defend themselves in court. Going along with that propaganda bullshit that I showed you guys yesterday about children in court. So again, I'm going to give this guy a little bit of credit because he seems to be very intellectual in the way he speaks. So I'm thinking that he's intentionally propagandizing, and he knows very well that that video that I showed you guys yesterday is completely scripted from 2018. And this all started under Obama with that court case that had to do between 2014 and 2016. Okay, now he's moving on to pretty much, well, student loans. And you know what? I can see some points that these guys bring up because school is way overpriced. Why is it so expensive? Because they can get away with it. It's the same thing like when you have a new child, why are diapers so expensive? Well, because you have no choice. You got to buy them. Why is your little baby's shoes that are that big half the cost of my shoes, which are still really expensive? Because you have no choice. You got to be able to do it. So in order to actually have a fighting chance in America, these people have been programmed. They've been indoctrinated to believe that trade school is not the way to go. Because if you go to trade school, well, you're a Republican. You're a MAGA. You're one of those like hillbillies out there that don't know left from right. People that go to trade schools are only mechanics and they're dumb. That's what they think. But no, I'm a liberal. I'm an intellect. I need to go to college and I need to like study butterflies and pickles and see what type of job I can get afterwards. And then he tops off the propaganda with everybody's favorite one. He wants to start bringing up the climate that we are causing. Do we contribute to it? Yes, we do. But climate change is completely, like other planets and whatnot that actually have an atmosphere, which, we've never been to them, but we can see through technology somehow that there is other Earth-like planets out there. I'm willing to bet that their climate changes over there a little bit too. With all the science that these astronomers know, they should be the first ones to actually tell you, yeah, this is completely normal. We've gone through ice ages and we've gone up and down. This is how it's supposed to be. And then, of course, he really ends off. He did the whole propaganda tour. If you really notice, within 2 minutes and 4 seconds, that's how long that clip was. He brought you guys on the whole 360 tour of lefty propaganda. He's got to end it off with white people, brown people being oppressed, and you're just earning money for billionaires that are manipulating the market and yada, yada, yada. Wow. Well, guys, that's it for this video. I do have one more clip for you guys. I found an individual today on TikTok. He's right up there with Mr. I Hate Donald Trump. And now, Mr. I Hate Donald Trump, you guys haven't seen him lately. I do have some of his clips. I still have a bunch of clips of his that I have not shown you guys. I just, been taking a break from him. His TikTok's been gone for about 2 weeks now. I think with all of his talking about Donald Trump needs to go away down there, I think that may have gotten him banned off of TikTok. But this guy is a whole other ballgame. He's a different style than Mr. I Hate Donald Trump, but wow, he's another massive case of TDS. So this is not going to be the last time that you're going to see me feature him on this channel. That's for sure. If you guys like this type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel if you are new. Reminder again, I'm on Drunk Pinata's show tomorrow at 4 p.m. He contacted me today. He told me he wants to do a microphone test before 4 p.m. So I think I'm going to be on right away at the beginning with him. Again, don't know what we're doing. Don't know if we're just going to chat, if we're going to watch videos. Don't even know how long I'm going to be on. But if you guys could show up, if you have a chance to check it out, that'd be greatly appreciated. Links will be in the description below for his Rumble and Pill.net account. You guys choose whichever one you want to go to. Besides that, if you guys can like the video, share the video, post a comment, interact in any way to help me out with this YouTube algorithm that doesn't seem to like me too much, that'd be greatly appreciated. Till then, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.
America is not headed into a dark place. We are in a dark place. Donald Trump is testing us. He is testing you. He is testing you with Kilmar Garcia. He is seeing if he can separate you from your humanity, from your greater good, from your very heart. Can he do it with words like monster and terrorist and poisoning the blood? Can he use the language to separate you from what you know is right? Will you allow an innocent man who's been given no due process, no American legal rights, to rot in prison for his life? Or will you rise up against Donald Trump's darkness because it is time? It is a fulcrum moment in American history. We must stand together now for what is right. And if you can't do it for Kilmar Garcia, do it for yourself. Because I will tell you what is coming next. When Donald Trump deports millions of people, as he has said he would, it will cost billions of dollars. And he's already given tax cuts to the rich. Your taxes will go up. Those workers will no longer be here in the fields and doing constructions, which means fewer jobs. If they don't pick fruit, there's nobody to process fruit in the plant. That's your job. Prices will go up. Meanwhile, if you're taking the breadwinner of a family and sending them to prison for life with no due process, what happens to their teenage son left here to fend for himself, enraged and bitter and desperate? Life will get worse in America while he's cut Medicaid, Social Security, every service that has allowed you to live a better life that your tax dollars pay for, he will take away. And what happens when we have higher unemployment, higher inflation, a recession, when life is getting worse, when we have higher crime? Will Donald Trump take responsibility? No, he will continue to blame because all he knows is subtraction. He will blame a new group and say they must be removed from society. They are the poison. They are the problem. And eventually, when you remove enough from the foundations of a society, it will crumble. So too, eventually, if you subtract, if you deport millions, but the problems get worse, you will need to deport more. Eventually, it will be you. Make no mistake, we have seen this before. It is one direction only. So we must not allow it to get there. So whether it is through your humanity, through your heart, through the fact that you do care, not only about Kilmar Garcia, but about your country, that you want to allow your name, your tax dollars, that what we have here to be used to violate someone so inhumanely, or whether it's out of self-interest, to know one day that will be you. Now is the time to rise up, America, and put an end to Donald Trump's darkness.